it here, then you have yourself a situation where you have to completely then rethink things.
I actually disagree. I think Tribe's strategy coming into this draft to focus Hammy is working well. So the Celeste pick, in my opinion, actually didn't do that well for Hammy, especially during the mid game. He was getting caught out of position multiple times on the front line, and that's how Tribe were winning the team fights. They were able to get on Celeste too easily and focus her down and delete her in most of the team fights between minutes 5 and 15, the mid game part. So Hammy on Celeste definitely, to me, showed that Tribe's strategy coming into this matchup is very smart, and it's very correct that they're going for denying him his top picks and letting him go onto these Adagio open powers, these Celeste that he hasn't played recently and is not as strong on them because of that.
Grace going to be grabbed up by Rogue here after banning away that Crawl after the Rhyme pick. And then Lance will be locked in for Tribe. So Max Green going to be grabbing that one. So no Githian walls onto Dienzio this time around. They're going to be able to protect him with them instead. Now we'll see where Tigers goes. This could well be yet another Koshka pick.
It could be, but I feel like that could be a little bit risky because with the Grace, they're going to be able to heal that burst damage. That's what how Tribe was winning with the Koshka Kestrel, was they were able to just do so much damage that it was too much for Rogue to handle. If the ultimate then comes through from the Grace, as long as she stays safe herself, all of a sudden you have a Koshka who's jumped in, may not be able to get out, a Kestrel who got close enough to be able to land those glimmer shots, who may not be able to get out safely, and so it becomes a little bit of a risk. Obviously, if anyone's going to be able to pull it off, it is going to be T-Tigers on this Koshka because he is so good at it.
Yeah.
But the Grace being there, I think, gives Rogue that little bit of an insurance policy to be able to survive the engagements from Tribe.
Blackfeather comes out, and that's going to be for Hammy in the lane. It's a hero that he actually plays well, but as a triple melee composition against what Tribe has with the Kestrel Koshka, I don't think that's going to work very well, just because Kestrel is going to be able to kite out very, very effectively.
Especially with Lance.
Yeah, on top of that, Blackfeather's early game is really weak, and Tribe are going full out on the early game with the Lance pickup. They have to get ahead with the early game, or with the Lance in the early game with the Koshka and the Lance, just because they're going up against a Grace 2 who's going to outscale very hard. So that's going to work in their favor, the Blackfeather pick. So at this point, if Tribe manages to get advantages and snowball the game, if they play to Koshka's strengths, they can take this serious. Otherwise, Rogue are going to outscale really hard.
Yeah, but Rogue, their team is definitely a team of brawlers, I think it's fair to say. We could see, especially towards the mid-game, a lot of battles coming out from this team.
Yeah, the thing that Rogue's going to have to be very cautious of is the fact that there is a Lance Kestrel. If Lance knocks you away with a Githian wall, you're going to want to continue that chase. You're going to want to dive in, but you could be diving right onto an active camo trap. So vision will be key.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. It's time to jump on into game number 3 of this quarterfinal. Hashtag Vainglory on Twitter to let us know who you are supporting. But it's time to jump on in to Rogue versus Tribe, the final game.
Thanks, guys. Once again, final game. You aren't half wrong, Joe. Rogue, Tribe, here we go, Denominate. Winner of this game will go on to day number 2. Rogue looking extremely strong. They got their hounds on that Rhyme again, but T-Tigers, once more, he's got his hands on the Koshka.
Yeah, and T-Tigers was able to make short work upon the original in most circumstances during that first game. And this time around, it's not Hammy on a true hyper carry hero, which is where we see Rogue do the best. In most of their games at least, so that kind of does worry me a little bit. Blackfeather can be a huge nuisance as well as a huge damage threat, but not quite the same threat that a Scarf or a Celeste or an Idris provide. So now as we have all 3 members rotating here towards this Elder Treant, we could see a level 2 fight here as Hammy and Pon, T-Tigers, and Dienzio all have that extra ability ready to go.
But they do. Max Green Evo, not so much. Max Green's level 2 a little bit more effective in terms of combination of CC than Evo's is. However, just like Tribe, are just going to take this out of Treant, and Rogue actually just surrendered it. Not too much of an issue. That'll go over to Dienzio of all people, so he's going to actually rotate to the lane now with a bit of extra cash.
Yeah, and I think it was smart of Rogue to back off there. They do have kind of more of like a level 5, level 6 spike at this point, because obviously that Koshka in that early game is so aggressive and does so much damage. It's very risky, especially when you have no early shield built yet to defend against that kind of push, where T-Tigers can really run away with something. Uh-oh, Evol, are you in a bad spot or are you in a beautiful spot?
Oh, you're in a beautiful spot for Max Green to land an Impale. T-Tigers is going to run him down. Dienzio's going to make his way from the lane as well, though. Nice double Githian wall. They're going to jump straight on Evo. Glimmer shots will find him and strike him true. Dienzio will end up finding the kill, but T-Tigers still in the 1v1 versus Hammy. Actually picks up the kill in the end, but Pon manages to trade that one, but it's still a net game for Tribe for the moment. Pon getting chased out. Still very, very low here. Used his flask already, but Tribe haven't got the damage to follow that one up. They still net themselves 2 kills though. One on Dienzio, one on T-Tigers.
Yeah, and the only person to actually not use their flask in that fight was Max Green. So if we get at a point later on, within this next minute and a half, 2-minute mark, Max Green has so much additional survivability. Obviously, because that flask is based off of your percentage of health, being the captain, it is going to give him a lot more of that health back in that front line, as well as a bigger barrier. So he will be able to soak up more damage for his team. He'll be able to be more aggressive. And the squishier targets, obviously, Hammy and Pon here in the early game. Here we go. Hold on, Evo.
Evo's pretty squishy as well. Holy Nova is going to get used, knocks out one, but Evo's going to fall already. T-Tigers is going to get runned and gunned down. Hammy finally finds the last inch of damage. Does pick up the kill. They trade 1 for 1 yet again.
Yeah, it's been the story of this series, specifically game number 2 and game number 3. But overall, a small lead right now developed for Tribe. Nothing major, nothing that Rogue can't come back from. Again, it's not Rogue on that late game hyper carry, but here in the lane, it will get a bit of damage down on that turret without even a presence coming out of Rogue. So it's about a little under maybe a quarter of the turret's health. So that's a pretty sizable amount, as well as Dienzio did miss out on a couple CS there, sitting at only 30 here at the 4-minute mark. But Hammy struggling down here at 22 CS. Just barely scraping, 6 CS a minute at this point is not where you want to be. This Blackfeather needs to come online. He needs to get, probably going into either a Sorrow Blade and a Poison Shiv or a Serpent's Mask and a Poison Shiv, depending on how much sustain Hammy thinks he's going to need. But overall, I do think that Tribe has the better composition because Hammy, it is an assassin. Blackfeather is an assassin. He wants to dive that backline, and that's going to make him susceptible to those huge Glimmer shots coming out of Dienzio.
Yeah, that's going to be the main issue there. It's like they're going to swap backlines in theory. T-Tigers is going to jump straight on Pon or Hammy, and then Dienzio is hopefully just going to survive at the back. And please, T-Tigers, deal with them while I try and kill them from a range, please. Max Green, help me, please. That is my that's the life of a carry. If I ever played a ranged carry, it's like Celeste. Everybody's crowded around her. It's like, just please, as long as I can get A's off, it's fine. We're going to win. Dienzio is going to be exactly the same. Thing is, though, Hammy and Pon, early war threads from Evo, possibly just getting them on the back line is going to be so important. As soon as Dienzio falls, we've seen T-Tigers and how he builds. He built Aftershock, Broken Myth, and full defensive before. So Dienzio, again, is going to be this real threat.
And Tribe doing a good job trying to get damage on the turret while they can, but now that Pon's here, at level 6, Yummy Cat and Frenzy and the Valkyrie are available, but we don't have a Divine Intervention or a one-shot, one-kill yet, and those are huge things to make note of here. Fountain is complete for Evol and for Max Green, so kind of even on the sustainability at this point until that Divine Intervention comes online here, and now Dienzio, a bit of damage, but is overall going to be pretty safe.
It's going to be pretty safe if Max Green can land triple Githian walls to shove everybody back. That's not too much of an issue. He's level 6 now, so one-shot, one-kill available. Yay, the damage from the one-shot, one-kill is going to be all too apparent at the moment, but T-Tigers is level 7. He's the more one you want to look out for. Hammy's going to have to look out, though. Double Githian wall, although Max Green taking a lot of damage. Fountain does come out. Yummy Cat Frenzy on the back. T-Tigers still trying to get on Pon. Valkyrie comes down. Max Green going very low. Beautiful Holy Nova will catch up 2 of them. Max Green's going to fall as well. Dienzio trying to get the recall off. I'm not sure it's going to happen. Rogue, they're going to find the ace and a triple kill for Pon.
And it could not have come at a better time. I was almost questioning Pon's use of the Valkyrie so late into the fight. It seemed like a better opportunity early on. They were all 3 grouped up in that mustache bush up in the lane. overall ends up working out. Rogue does lose out on Hammy, but they find an ace thanks to Pon the Original and Evol. Here we go, we get into it. A good root coming through onto Hammy, but they're not quite able to find the damage. The fountain does come through, and at this point, Pon has already got his hands into Dienzio's pocket, got a lot of damage down. There's the Valkyrie. They find Hammy, but Pon the Original finds Max Green for that mist and pale over the wall. They turn their attention on Dienzio. They get a turret taken down, and that evens the game up. But now Tribe looking to make sure that's not a thing, and they are turning their attention onto the gold mine.
Yes, they are. And I think they're going to be able to take that pretty free. Yep, there you go. 400 gold each. Thank you very much. Pon had no word in edgewise. That'll be Evol going for a small engage. Now, Pon, his Valkyrie is up yet again, and Evol has hit that level 6 mark now, so he has Divine Intervention to keep one of his members alive. At the moment, especially with Pon taking those the triple kill and the complete ace, he's now got Shatter Glass as well, so he is going to be hitting like a truck. Now, can Max Green kite for Dienzio enough? Who needs, again, he needs a couple of items to actually fully get going, with only Sora Blade under his belt thus far.
Yeah, and one nice thing about this route that we're starting to see more Rhymes do, and this is something that really Pon did before just about anybody. A lot of people went that Eve of Harvest first to get the additional sustain through the healing. When you go the Shatterglass route, you actually build enough fortified health that you normally don't need the healing in this early part of the game, as well as you do more damage. But here we go. This fight's breaking out quick.
Oh, big root onto T-Tigers. That's going to be a Divine Intervention used onto Pon to keep him alive. He didn't even need it at that point because T-Tigers is already dead. Max Green is going to get chased down. Hammy with a lot of Heartthrob stacks on him. Max Green's going to take a whole bunch of damage if he's not careful. Hammy dashing forward. Dienzio over the wall. Gets a couple of glimmer shots off, and Hammy actually decided to back off here as the Crystal Sentry has entered the fray. I tell you my words right there and then. Dienzio is going to come straight back in. A Divine Intervention not available for Hammy Evol, so Hammy's going to have to be very careful as T-Tigers gets on the respawn. Pon and Hammy trying to kill Dienzio, but it's not going to work. On an inch of health, ends up almost going down to the tree end as well there. Hammy falls, so does Max Green. In fact, a double kill for T-Tigers. He does run down Pon. Tribe only just managing to save that fight with T-Tigers spawning.
Yeah, and that was an immense amount of overstay coming out of Rogue, trying to chase down the captain, not even able to find it, and then giving up kills. Fortunately, Evol was just able to find one on T-Tigers here underneath the turret, but this is Hammy missing out on a couple CS here as well, so overall, it is going to be Tribe keeping the lead here, and looking forward, Rogue has to be more careful and make more cautious decisions. You've expended so much in the fight. Your fountain is down. Your flasks are down. And you know T-Tigers is coming. You know how fast Koshka is, how much damage Koshka does. And yet you've still committed all the way underneath the Crystal Sentry. The slow coming through out of that helps Dienzio find some good damage onto Hammy. And they were able to find 2 off of it, but unfortunately unable to get anything.
Divine Intervention on Pon to start this fight off, as he did get found pretty instantaneously. Valkyrie onto 3 people, that's absolutely huge! But they still managed to kill Hammy right there. T-Tigers over on the other side of the wall, 1 shot, 1 kill, will execute Pon, but they end up trading in that small engage 1-for-1, but a net gain for Tribe, as they did take out Pon to start off the Hammy to start off the fight. That was very, very quick. Oh, before it even started, Dienzio and Max Green now are going to have a little bit of time on this turret, but Evol just trying to dissuade them, even just a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a great spot so far. Hammy has gone into the Serpent's Mask and the Breaking Point. Unfortunately for him, Evol was again able to come in and hold a wave off of the turret. This is something that he's always been incredibly good at, is that decision making, knowing just how sustainable he is versus whatever carry or carries may be alive. And it keeps Tribe from getting that additional gold in their pocket. They do have a lead, but keeping that additional 200 gold each down is absolutely huge. And now, with infusions purchased, Rogue actually could have looked to just control the shop there with the edge that they had. Give it up, and they give the side of Tribe an opportunity to hit that shop.
They are going to rotate towards the lane again. I thought they were going to go for a cheeky gold miner, but didn't want to open up on it just yet. Dienzio taking a fair bit of damage now if he doesn't get out of the way of those on points from Hammy. He hasn't been able to actually attack and hit the back line thus far. He's been stopped in his tracks more often than not by T-Tigers, but he does have Serpent's Mask and Breaking Point now, so the longer he does stick on Dienzio, or even T-Tigers at this point, not too much armor on him, he will be able to dish out a fair bit of damage in these elongated fights. Echo now finished for Evil. This is a big turning point for him now, but Max Green's got his War Treads finished as well, so they are able to disengage and engage with those.
Yeah, and that's a huge opportunity for the side of Tribe now. Obviously, we don't have that yet. Hold on, here we go. Rogue
Hang on a
start
second,
up a
Evo
fight.
jumps on the back line, does get the Divine Intervention onto one. Valkyrie actually does miss Dienzio ever so slightly. Pong gets healed up with the Divine Intervention. Dienzio still trying to kite back. Rogue's offensive on top of him, still can't find the kill. Eventually finds it with the on point. Hammy on the chase. T-Tigers jump straight back in. Beautiful, get the wall into a triple impale, but it's not going to be enough. Rogue find the ace, they're going to find the Crystal Sentry, and they might just find that gold miner as well.
Yeah, they definitely should look to start up that gold miner, and Hammy is actually looking to take away the jungle here of Tribe as well, and this is going to provide a swing of gold back into the favor. Let's get into that replay, though, as we see a engage coming out of Rogue. A stun going down onto Max Green, maybe not the most ideal target, but the Divine Intervention comes through, allows Hammy to get onto Dienzio. The second Divine Intervention tops Hammy up almost fully. They find the kill, and then it's just a matter of time. I actually don't know why T-Tigers turns back into the fight here. They almost find the kill. They end up giving up an ace, though, and so much objective off the back of it. A gold mine, a sentry, as well as the entirety of your jungle. And that's just not a good trade-off for Tribe there. For the first time this game, Rogue has pulled through ahead in gold and still have their first turret standing here at almost 14 minutes.
It's got to be a record time almost. Not, unfortunately, going towards the perfect game, as they have given up 8 kills, but needless to say, the gold stretching in their favour ever so slightly. Only about 100 at this point in the game. You'd really think, to be honest with you, it would be a little bit more in favour of Rogue, considering the kills and considering the turrets, but all down to that CS. 111 to 137 on Dienzio and Hammy. So you can tell where their priorities have been lying. Dienzio just wants to get farmed up, wants to get to that late game. Has got the double monocle, so you can imagine a tornado trigger. We've even seen a bone sword today as well on the Kestrels to just rip through some of that armor. But right now, well, for now at least, Tribe, they're just happy to just take some of their camps away and maybe look to set up the next fight.
And Hammy, committing into that metal jacket is going to give him more of that survivability. We talked about how he's vulnerable to those glimmer shots when he dives that backline. Thanks to the Divine Intervention and the Echo Divine Intervention coming out of Evil, he's been able to sustain long enough to find the kills. I almost would think that Hammy is even maybe going into an Aegis before he goes into a third offensive item, just for that additional sustain in that backline. But now it is Tribe. They're around the gold mine, but thanks to Hammy forcing the wave up, they are going to have to turn their attention that way. So overall, this next fight, we are 15 minutes into the game now, Jaws. 10 seconds till the Kraken is up. The next team to win a fight could look to get that objective, could turn this game around for Tribe if they're able to find Hammy early on in a fight. There's not much that Pond is going to be able to do if Dienzio is still healthy.
Well, last game was a 34-minute slugfest. We'll see if this one's any quicker. But still, Rogue being very cautious. Same with Tribe.
Yeah, neither one of these teams wants to lose a fight. Again, we're here 15 minutes, Kraken's on the board, and I think that Rogue is in a better position right now. We have the spikes available for all these heroes. Here we go, Evo's going in!
Evo's gone straight in. Beautiful Githian Ward to 3 members. Here goes the Valkyrie, does stun up Dienzio. He's in a lot of trouble. Just gets completely executed by Pond. Hammy chasing after T-Tigers. Divine Intervention to heal him up. That'll be Max Green falling as well as Pond does just chase him down. Hammy is actually just getting his tail bitten off here if he's not careful. T-Tigers just rips him a new one, and Pond is going to chase him down as well. Holy Nova onto 2. Crystal Sentry on being the other one. Rogue, they find the ace. That Kraken's going to be on the board as well. And that'll be Rogue taking a very convincing fight.
I don't know why Hammy went so deep there. Fortunately, Rogue was able to clean up that ace onto T-Tigers, get themselves healed up. More importantly, get the energy back onto Pond the original. Now they've got this Kraken going, and I don't think Dienzio's going to make it over here in time. And Pond the original has positioned himself between the Kraken and the enemy base. No one-shot, one kill. Even if it would have come out, it would have been Rogue blocking it. But now, with the Kraken pushing down the lane, Rogue is looking to use the advantage while they have it before D'Enzio completes that Bonesaw, before he becomes a huge threat to Hammy with that 4th item.
4-item Hammy on the horizon if he sells his flask. You know what? I can forgive him for that, Denominator, because I've been forgetting to sell my flask a whole bunch of times and wondering why I haven't got many items. Then I realised, oh well, yeah, I can sell the thing. I don't need it at the moment. But Rogue still just catching up in turrets, or I should say Tribe should be doing that exact thing. Rogue just going to take it down at this 2nd tier turret now. Pon a little bit caught out. Divine Intervention comes through. That Echo's going to get popped as well. So double Divine Intervention available for Evil. Kraken still about 2/3 HP. Evil winning to just dive these turrets time and time again, knowing they're just going to break the base. Rogue play it safe, and they're going to back off for now. It seems Impale does land onto 3 members. Gideon always going to get blocked though. D'Enzio already at half HP. There's going to be the fountain to heal him up, and a Divine Intervention does heal Hammy in the process. Pon ends up going down though to T-Tigers. He's going to chase Hammy now. Does use that Yummy Catnip Frenzy on the back line and does find the root as well. 1 shot, 1 kill to finish him off. Ace for Tribe. They're going to lose another turret to the Kraken, however.
Yeah, they lose a lot off that Kraken push. There were 4 turrets alive, and now only stands 1. It is going to be Tribe taking down that first turret. It takes them quite a bit of time, though, obviously with no minions there, so you gotta feel good if you're Rogue. But let's get into that replay. It was a bit of an overstay. Hammy was dropped incredibly low. Pon was as well, but the Divine Intervention was already used, and at that point, Rogue is just too far out. It is D'Enzio finding Evol, and then obviously the stun coming through from T-Tigers, that Yummy Catnip Frenzy locking up Hammy. T-Tigers was able to get a little dirty kill steal there. 1 shot, 1 kill, would have finished it, but T-Tigers did get it. So 8 and 8 for the T-Tigers, and D'Enzio sitting here over at 4 and 3, but has completed that Bonesaw and is a huge threat now, as that additional attack speed does allow the Glimmer Shots to be recharged a little bit quicker, so those will be available more frequently on in a fight, or more importantly, between fights. They'll be back up a little bit sooner, so if they've been used for farming or whatever means, they'll be a little bit safer on those engages. But T-Tigers now slumbering Husk online, and this is starting to be that point that, yes, Rogue looks like they're in the lead here, but we're at that point that it could go either way. Tribe is at a very strong point in their draft at this point. D'Enzio 4 items online. Doesn't have a block though, and that is a little bit concerning to me. He is going to the armor since Hammy has been ripping him apart on that back line.
Needs it at this moment in time. Yeah, I mean, this Bonesaw as well was going to be pretty big, like you mentioned. But T-Tigers got the Slumbering Husk. His survivability in these fights is it paramount now. He needs to be able to kite for D'Enzio. He needs to be able to stack up that Broken Myth as well. Now, what do Tribe do? They're trying to, what seems to bait out Rogue into a fight in these corridors where Max Green loves to be. It doesn't look like Rogue are taking the bait just yet. Just happy just to control these waves. They know they're at the advantage. And I can't believe I'm actually saying this. There's still actually a gold lead for Tribe as well. Game definitely does not reflect it. And in fact, Rogue being really cheeky here, just walking up the lane, it seems.
Yeah, looking to push this wave up and forced Tribe to fight away from those choke points. But now they're getting to that point. They can't go any further because of the walls that are around that choke point turret. Now it is Rogue looking to start a fight here. Ooh, Jaws, this is a dangerous position for both of these teams.
Pretty dangerous. It's also pretty tense. No team really wanting to actually commit to this at all. Pon maybe in a little bit of trouble now. Now they are where they want Tribe to be. They want them to be just in a corridor. Same to Tribe, to be fair, because Max Green can get some nasty impales off, although Evo's going to come in with a benediction. Look at that damage, by the way. 1 on point. Taking D'Enzio's HP down to about half HP. Taking his HP to half HP. Taking his HP down to half.
Yeah, and those on points do a lot to D'Enzio because he is committed to armor instead of shield, and that on point is crystal damage. So even though it is a weapon Black Feather, that is a crystal damage source, and D'Enzio has very minuscule amount of defense towards that at this point. Obviously, he has the, I believe it's 30 that comes through on that coat of plates, but it's not a lot, and that's why we can see Hammy look to get some damage down before a fight, and then make an engagement onto D'Enzio, look for a kill there. And, again, we're now 22 minutes almost into this game. Kraken is on the board, and Rogue won't even need it if they find a fight. They can just push in and end this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of flares that Evo just cleared out. So at least they're going to get a little bit of vision denial. The metal jacket now completed for Dienzio, so a little bit more tanky now. But 30 on the shielding, fantastic. They're dealing with Pod as well, by the way. He's just destroying him. If one Valkyrie lands on him, he is pretty much donezo. Rogue posturing very aggressively, but Tribe, they need to win this. They are sitting at only 5 points right now, and they need to be able to separate themselves from the pack here to dominate. If they do manage to take this and go to day 2, that's a whole lot of points in your book, and a whole lot of points, I should say, up for grabs. They do manage to make it there first. They'll just separate themselves from the likes of TSM.
Yeah, and, we're at that point, Rogue sees that Max Green has this echo. They know they cannot fight in a corridor at this point. They can't fight anywhere that a wall is active because of the amount of crowd control. But now Rogue is a little split up and has to be careful here. Here we go. A stun onto Evol. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Gets tense and then it just dies down again. See, I told you these teams, they're just too unwilling to start an engagement, just waiting for the other players to actually make a mistake before they go for this engagement, but it's just a vision war at the moment.
I mean, there's so much on the line at this point. Both of these teams are in a position where I think anybody can really consider them to be a contender for that world spot. But I do want to look over at Hammy's build at this point. We talked about the metal jacket he has complete from earlier. He's also gone into a coat of plates as well, so this is just a Serpent's Mask and a breaking point on Hammy here. So now that Dienzio has that metal jacket completed, it's going to be very difficult for Hammy to ramp that damage up onto Dienzio. It's going to give him a lot of time to really be able to position around the fights, to be able to build up those Bonesaw stacks, and that's really not a good spot for Rogue to be in, and that's why I keep saying this can still go either way. Tribe is really in a beautiful spot right now.
Evo actually sacrifices about half of his HP bar there, just through glimmer shots alone. T-Tigers definitely looking for this engagement now. Evo trying to get the sneaky recall off, but will get spotted out. There we go, Hammy's now in the front line, but again, Rogue just willing to back off here, willing to play it fairly safe, but is this too safe? Tribe, they have a dominant position now over this Kraken. They're going to see that Treant getting taken away. They're not careful. If Rogue aren't careful, Tribe could really just sneak this Kraken right into their noses.
Yeah, they could. And, speaking of Hammy's build, I also have to look into his abilities and what points he's put into it, as he might have gone a little bit too safe of a game here. So he has all this defense. He's gone into a Atlas Pauldron now. But he's a weapon Blackfeather that did not overdrive his Feint of Heart. He has overdriven the On Point for the additional range and the additional barrier, and the Rose Offensive for the additional cooldown on that ability. But no extra damage.
Hang on a second. Max Green finds a 2 into a 3-man stun. Dienzio left completely alone though. T-Tigers jumps straight on top of Pond to keep him off. Dienzio, double divine intervention keeps him all alive. Max Green once again finds a 2-man Githium all into a 2-man Impale. Rogue, they get healed up by the fountain and Evol's abilities, but yeah, no one falls just yet. Dienzio got jumped on, had to just Scarpers instantly. I don't think he even got a chance to do damage in that fight.
No, not really. He was forced out really quickly. On the tail end of it, he did find some glimmer shots onto Hammy, but nobody died in that last fight. And, Hammy did get locked up. He got stunned by an active camo. Yummy Catnip Frenzy came through before he was able to use a Rose offensive charge. And he still didn't die just because of how tanky he committed his build to be. And T-Tigers doesn't do all that much damage to Hammy at this point, or really to Pond with the fortified health, as well as with the additional healing coming out of Grace, because Kashka obviously wants to go in and get that burst. That's really what she is best at. Grace is very good at taking away burst, and it is just T-Tigers getting wrecked by an EU Treant there, rooting him up. But Tribe might be looking to start up the Kraken here.
Yeah, they're just going to start this one straight up. I think they've got a little bit bored of waiting, and I think most of us have as well. You've got to start. We want to see explosive fights to nominate, but everything is on the line. Evol's actually going to spot this out now, and Tribe, they're just going to back off, although that Kraken's still plodding around. It's about half its capture rate right now, but both teams actually deciding to leave it and just turn 180 and just reset it completely.
That was Absolutely crazy there. Rogue actually had vision of Hammy and Evol, and obviously at such a risk that if a steal were to have occurred, they very likely would just lose the game. They decided to pull off, even though Pon wasn't there, but oh, Hammy, you're locked up and Glimmer Shots are coming in.
Yeah, they're coming in, but again, Tribe is just going to back off once more. Should we count how many times they back off? We'll have to wait and see, Dominic. In fact, I've got a notepad right in front of me. I'll count from this moment on how many times both these teams back off. The Kraken is going to get started again. Will it get flared out? And in fact, I'm not sure they even know it's doing. I think they've twigged now. This Kraken is going down very, very low. Miracle steal from Rogue. If they can make it, it's actually going to go over to Tribe. They back off instantly. The Kraken now on their board and on their side.
27 minutes into this game, if Rogue can find this last fight, they can base race, and if obviously Tribe finds an ace as well, they might even not be able to end the game if they find it too quickly, as those turrets will reduce the death timers. So Tribe has to play this right if they want to end the game here, and all Rogue has to do is find a killer.
But triple impale into the double Githian wall. Look at the war treads. They're going to get popped. Evo jumping straight in on the backline. DNZO left completely alone. This is where he wants to be. But Hammy receives a divine intervention, keeping him alive. And now DNZO's got a lot of free time to do a lot of damage. Another divine intervention, keeping Hammy alive. But a double Githian wall will stop him in their tracks. Holy Nova is going to dissuade Tribe, but they're willing to just jump back in. They need to deal with this Kraken, though, so they are just going to retreat here. Blinking health bars from Tribe. They are very low, so they're just not going to take this fight.
All right, what's your count at now, Jaws?
Oh, it's about 3 or 4. It should be like 9 or 10 at this point in the game.
And Evol's not done. He's
Evol's not done. In fact, they're just going to go straight in. Hammy's actually going to find a lot of damage onto Evo. Evol's not there to protect the rest of his team. They're just going to pop those war treads to get away. Beautiful impale over the wall. Isn't going to quite find him. Crystal Sentry actually gives him a nice hold whack and actually takes him out. Hammy receives another divine intervention. Rogue, they might just base race the Kraken because I think they might have done it. T-Tiger's the only one alive.
T-Tigers might be looking to go help the Kraken out here. This is going to be intense. T-Tigers need... Oh, no. T-Tigers. I feel like this is a wasted recall here. I feel like T-Tigers, he had his boots ready. He had energy as well. He could have tried. I mean, the hopes were slim.
It doesn't look like Rogue are just going to end the game, though. The turret is going to go down. T-Tigers can't quite find the kill onto Pawn. They're going to focus the Crystal with 15 and 20-second death timer on DNZO and Max Green. Rogue, we're going to see you in day number 2 as they take down Tribe.
And Flash said this was a team to look out for, and they come up big, taking down the runner-up to the summer finals, looking in pretty decent fashion, might I say, in game number 2 and 3. Incredibly long games, but they were able to pull through, and, you know, again, this opens up a huge opportunity for them to get points in day number 2.
Yeah, that it does. They're still sitting high and dry at second seed, however. Those were some slugfest games, and we've got some 3 beautiful analysts to actually break those down a little bit more.